It's not too much background noise for you guys, is it? Is it okay? I hope it's. I'm gonna try not to talk too long. I'm kind of out of the house right now at the moment. So, hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in or for joining us on this call for coordinators. It's great that we have this call a little bit later so that our coordinators in the U.S. and Latin America have more of an opportunity to join. So it's a little bit earlier. Thank you guys also, those of you in Europe, but it is a little bit too late. Cyril is going to try to join, but it's already midnight in Malaysia, so she might pop in if she is still up, but otherwise she's going to join on the next call. She is still kind of recovering a little bit, so we don't want her to kind of overextend herself too much, but wonderful to see all of you. Some of you, let's see, this might be the first time I'm on a call with you, but I think I've met just about everyone. I know I've been talking to all of you on Telegram. So welcome. This is our monthly coordinator call. It's an opportunity for us to get together, to share some new processes with you, and also for all of us to check in with one another, share some best case practices, get the support that you might need in your chapter, and to meet each other as well. We do a lot of this online. You probably know all of the hosts in your chapter, but you probably don't know all the other coordinators or hosts that are operating in the world. And it's a great opportunity for us to come together and for you guys to be able to meet one another as well. And I know some of you are coming to Dubai. You guys will get to meet there as well. And then many of you will be coming to Mindvalley University and you get to meet there as well. So before I turn it over to Steve, I just had let's see. So our kind of goal, I'll tell you about our kind of goal for this, for the next 2 quarters. So we spent the last 2 quarters really expanding this program from the start, trying to activate as many chapters, as many countries as we could all over the world, and get these meetups started. And you guys took off with it. Phenomenal work. We hit all of our goals for the last 2 quarters. The whole team, including Vishen, is extremely happy with you guys and what's going on with the meetup program, and that everyone is finally able to come back together after the pandemic. Now our goal for these next 2 quarters, as far as the meetups program goes, is we want to improve what we're doing. And so rather than keep trying to activate as many countries as we can, we really want to go back to all of you guys that we have activated already and make sure that we've got really tight processes, that we start organizing things are working efficiently. You guys are getting notified of new hosts, new applicants. New applicants are going from applicant to host faster, so the time is going to get shorter, whether or not they can come into the fold and your team. And also, you guys are going to be able to communicate with us better, say, hi, we actually have all the hosts we need, so we don't need any new hosts. And we want to focus on just building up the quality and the training for the hosts that we already have. And so this is where we're going to be looking at improving the documentation we already have, simplifying it, and also making all the processes easier and more automated. So it's actually going to be less work for you guys and your hosts. So we want to take a look at everything we're doing and make it easier and more streamlined. Also, Steve is working his wonders in sending out emails to each of the chapters. So organizing and finding out who are the members and emailing them. And it's working quite successfully to bring new members into the group to actually join meetups. So this is something Steve's doing. We are also working on the overall larger picture of that, what it looks like to email directly from Mindvalley and incorporate meetups into some of our marketing as well. And so that every time we talk about community, we're talking about meetups and we're giving them calls to action so they can actually join your Telegram groups. So this is really exciting. This is going to be happening. One thing we did do over the last week is we just implemented. Can you guys hear me all right? It's all good? Yeah? Okay, wonderful. Um, let's see, I'm just getting a little feedback. Norma, if you can just mute yourself. Um, so one thing we did implement last week is we implemented a terms and conditions. You might have seen it on any new meetups that you've created. Anyone that RSVPs to your meetups or your host meetups, you'll get a little terms and conditions that they have to opt in for. Basically, this gives us the permission to use any of the photos that are coming in from your meetups to share on our social media. And this is going to be a big thing. Once we can share some of your amazing photos on social media, on our marketing, in our emails, it's going to generate a lot more interest and drive. And it's going to give our members a picture of, wow, look at what's going on. I can see people getting together. It looks so awesome. Look where they're at. Look at how much fun they're having. And so we haven't really been able to do this before because we're getting all these great pictures, but we don't have permission to share those. And we want to make sure that we have all the right permissions. And so we were just able to work with our legal department and get that processed. So unfortunately, it's only on our new events. So any prior events that were already organized on the platform before last week, there won't be an opt-in yet. Any new events that you create from this week on, from last week on, will have this opt-in. So Martha's going to be working. She might be reaching out because she wants to do some social media posts for Dubai. So she might be reaching out to some of you to kind of get permission for some of these photos that we already do have. So she might be reaching out, but this is really cool and exciting because then we can place those photos in our emails and other marketing as well as social media. We're also looking at collecting stories from not only from you guys, our coordinators and hosts, of how much what your experience is on this program, but also members that are joining the meetups. So we can use these kind of stories to promote as well and bring more people. So these are a couple of the things that are happening. Something we want to let you know also that that the team is going to be working on for the next couple of quarters as well is some of us are going back to the online community. So the company has realized the way that we've designed community is not really working as best as we would like, the online space. And so we're having discussions on how we're going to improve that experience or kind of reset the experience. And so we're going to shake things up on the online space as well, and eventually this will also contribute to the offline. So we've been working the last 6 months on the offline, but we want to build a solid experience online as well, just like many of you experienced a couple of years ago when we had Facebook. So how do we have that same type of engagement and fun and sharing and security and privacy without being on Facebook? And so this is some other things that the team is looking at as well. So, and next week, I invite all of you guys to join. We've been working hard on a benefits package. We've been kind of, we gave you a little taster of that, of some of the free tickets to live events. We're going to be talking about what comes next. And this is for hosts and coordinators that have committed to be with us on this program. We've got some exciting things, and we're going to announce this tomorrow. We're just, not tomorrow, next week. We're just fleshing out the details, but it does include Mindvalley certifications. So we'll be excited to share this with you guys and all the hosts next week. And then, but that's not it. We're working on even more. So we realize and we know, we've always known the contribution that you guys bring to Mindvalley, to the community. We know the intrinsic value that you guys get. And many of you have been with us for years, not because of the things that we've given you, but what you get intrinsically from the community, from your own growth in these roles and experience. being a leader and being a facilitator and a host and pushing yourself to come out of the shadows and live into your own truth and your own potential. So we will also want to thank you and give you some benefits that we feel would properly reward you guys as well. So these are some of the things I wanted to share with you. Um, I'm not going to get into any. I don't think I need to get into any details. I'll save that for next week of more like kind of training type things. Um, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of idea of what the team is working on over the next quarter or two. And so it's all about improving the experience that you guys are already having and the members that are coming to your events and the hosts that are working with you, making this even funner, easier, faster, smoother, and giving everyone more clarity along the way. So this is what we're working hard on, the whole team: Steve, Martha, Annie, Sierra, and myself. And then some of us are going to be working on the online portion of that as well. So there's some exciting stuff coming through. We're kind of shaking up the whole Quest model in the coming months. You'll see some new things that we're going to be doing to regenerate the energy and the excitement on our online space. So thank you guys, and I'll pass it over to Steve.
Thanks, Ezra. Marta, do you have anything you want to share before?
Yes, I can go on. I have just a small presentation, so maybe I will start. So hello, everyone. So nice to see you all here. I can see already 20 people joined. That's great. So this time I tried actually not only to send you the notifications on Telegram, but also on email. So you can write in the chat if you got the email and if it was really helpful for you, because, you know, we are also testing it. Some people don't check the emails but check Telegram, some vice versa. So we were trying to use both of these channels. So if you find it helpful, just put it down in the chat as well. So a few things I wanted to talk about today is, first of all, links. So sharing links. We had quite not pleasant situation with the links that we have shared to Mindvalley Live Dubai, because you know that we were giving the free tickets to all our hosts and coordinators, and these were like VIP tickets, free tickets. And somehow someone has shared the link to some externals. We are not saying that it was on purpose. It might have happened somehow, but it happened, and it caused, of course, a lot of like communication with that person, misunderstanding, and so on. So please be very careful with all the links that we are sharing with you in these groups for hosts and coordinators. Usually they are private and only shared with you. I will be also putting the disclaimers there, but like there can be some promo codes, some specific links. If you would like to share, let's say, the link to Mindvalley Live Dubai, better go Google it and just take it from there. Don't share it from what we have shared with you, just in case. Okay, so this was just a reminder to all of you. And let me share my screen. And I would like to talk a little bit about Instagram stories and how we are going to do that. Let me try. I have never done it. Do you see my screen, guys? Let me do
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. So as Ezra has already mentioned, we would like to do more shares on Instagram and via emails of the pictures and what you guys are doing. So one of the things that we were discussing with our social media team, and they will be really glad to do this, is to reshare your stories on Instagram. Of course, it's not a must to do it. It's more a request, right? I know that some of you might not be on Instagram, some of you might not be active there, so we cannot like push you on doing this, but it will be really cool, especially for those of you who are working with Instagram, who are okay with this, to share your stories and videos from your meetups. So I created here just a small picture. Actually, this is from one of the events I believe someone shared, and I just took it, a very beautiful picture, how we can see it. So if it is a picture, let's say, you're putting it as your story. It should be like selfie, right? Or something that will like really look nice. It's up to you. The only requirement that we have, say where the meetup is happening, any fonts can be taken, any style, it's up to you. We are not demanding anything, any like emoji and so on. This is just the example. Mindvalley meetup in Dubai, let's say. Hashtag, always please put hashtag Mindvalley community and tag Mindvalley, because if you tag Mindvalley, they will be able to reshare it on Mindvalley Instagram. So you can also tag people who are here. Feel free to do that. You can double check if this is a smaller group of people, but as you know, we already have the waivers that everyone has to sign. So actually people have to be aware that we might be using their pictures. Except pictures, we are also videos, which will be even better. It can be just a selfie style video where you're asking people like, what do you love most about Mindvalley community? Or what do you like most about Mindvalley meetups? It can be a short video. I remember, as far as I remember, Instagram stories is up to 1 minute video. Once again, it shouldn't be a live video. You can just pre-record it and post it later if you don't feel comfortable to do it during the meetup itself. But what it will bring, first of all, we are resharing it on Mindvalley Instagram, so it will reach approximately 1 million people. Secondly, it will show to people who are from your area and who might not know about the events about these meetups that they are happening, and people might be also write to you and asking you how this meetup is happening and how to join it. So just for you to know that you might be ready. So some people might reach out to you and ask about these meetups. But also like the format, everything is up to you how you're organizing it, especially for the videos. Just make sure that it looks nice, and don't forget about these small things like hashtag, where it is happening, and tagging Mindvalley. If you have any questions, please put them down in the chat. Maybe I missed something, but here are the requirements. I will also repeat this information during our the meeting next week with hosts. And I would also love you to encourage our hosts to do these stories as well. We'll again, because I know this is something new process, and maybe not everyone is used to that. I know that you also are sharing the pictures on post event in your chapter, in your event. Please do that too. We can go and pick up something, and we can also reshare it later. Regarding the posts, you can also do the posts, but please don't forget to tag Mindvalley as well. Don't forget to put the hashtag Mindvalley community. In the post, you can actually put a few pictures, right? But of course, for Instagram stories, it's more active, and we are interested in this most of all. Once again, you can pre-record something and post it after the event. It's cool. And one more update from me is that Mindvalley University volunteering form has been opened, and we invite you to join it. We don't have free tickets from Mindvalley University. I'm telling from the very beginning, we have free tickets only for live events as for now. But you can become a volunteer. Some of you have already been volunteers at Mindvalley University, so you know the process. For those of you who do not know, I have just put here a few things that it's not VIP access. You will be part of big volunteering team, so you will be helping Mindvalley events team with anything that will be asked to help. You will have your role, you will have your hours, how long you're working, depending on how many weeks you are joining. And of course, you will have some free time to join some of the lectures that you are interested in. Also, you will have to cover your travel, accommodation, visa if it is necessary, and so on. When you're filling out the form, please always mention that you are Mindvalley host. It will be really easier for us. But as I was mentioning, it's like a part of a big volunteering team. Deadline is April 2nd, 2023. Here's the link to apply. I will put it in the chat as well. I created the QR code, but maybe it will be easier for you to use the link, and I will put it in the chat. So I believe that's it from me in terms of updates. If you have any questions, I will now maybe stop sharing, and because I don't see that tab. So I'll stop sharing and let me come back to the meeting to see what's happening here. Okay, I see a lot of things are going on in the chat. Ezra has shared already the links. Thank you, Ezra. Okay. Let me see. Instagram was very good. Okay. Yes. And actually, I was seeing a lot of your beautiful pictures that you were sharing even on Telegram, and I was so excited to use them. But I know that there might be like 10 people, and it's difficult for you guys also to reach out to each of them and ask for their permission. So now we have it. Will be much easier. Okay. Any questions, any comments, any something that would like to share, you guys? You are welcome. You can just unmute yourselves.
Oh,
Hi.
I just want to share one thing real quickly. I see that some people their videos is down here, so we're using Bevy Vote Virtual for these meetings. It helps us track everyone that comes to these meetings, and this is what some of our circle hosts are using it now as well, instead of Zoom. And it's great because it gives us data to actually see the engagement numbers. This is something that was extremely difficult to pull out of Zoom. It takes a lot of work all the time. That being said, we have had plenty of reports. I've given you the form to report to Bevy over the last 6 months since we started this. Bevy's gotten plenty of reports, plenty of feedback from you guys and our circle hosts about their virtual platform, and they are working on moving to a new platform that is better and works better. And they're looking about March timeframe for this. So this is going to be fantastic, because also as some of you guys start using this platform for your virtual meetups, it will get better and better and better. Bevy's totally behind us as far as improving their platform, especially for us. We're one of their best cases, and they love working with us and what we're doing with the platform. We are one of their, what do you call it, prime examples of the power their platform can have on a community using Bevy. And so we've got a lot of pull with them. So thank you guys all for reporting when you do have issues to Bevy. You've probably noticed how quick they are to address those issues. And also want to let you know that we've been working on for a few months now, and it's going to go live on March 1st. We're totally revamping our customer service process, and it is going to improve significantly. So heard the feedback, and we're working on improving all these things. So, and this is why your feedback is so important. Whether it's your feedback, your host feedback, members that come to your events, let us know if something's not working, because we will do whatever we can to fix it. So thank you, guys.
Can I ask a question? Oh, Marta, go.
Can I just do a small little thing? I was, after you were talking about the privacy and the way that you need to use the pictures and everything, I was thinking, since we are developing the platform, why don't we add a button where if you are coming, you can already say yes or no to give permission to use the pictures or the video. So that way you can already have something registered and already have or in
Martha?
the platform. Yes.
Yeah. So I mentioned this earlier. We've already enabled this. It's a
Okay. Sorry,
requirement.
I'm up in the road, so I couldn't hear very well. Sorry.
No problem.
It was just an idea.
So it's now a requirement to join our meetups. It is a requirement to give us permission that that we can share your photos. So it's blanket all anyone that wants to join our meetups, just like any of our Mindvalley events, the permission is required. And so then ultimately we can use those in our social media marketing and bring more people into this community. So yeah, we're on it, Martha. Thanks a lot.
I will add also from my side that you guys can all check what are the requirements. You can just RSVP to any random event and you will see that terms and conditions there. So we can just read it also to know what we are mentioning to everyone who is joining. There was some other question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, well, hi everyone. We had a entrepreneurship circle hosting meetup yesterday, and we were discussing how to actually bring more engagement and more people into our circles. And one of the things that came like as a suggestion is maybe like sharing in emails also that we have these particular circles, like relationship circle, femininity, entrepreneurship, so people know what is actually happening every day. And maybe also when it comes to quests, now we know that also in these circles we want to address different quests with that topic, and maybe it would be also kind of a mention maybe in the quest that we also have this support team that is practicing different practices from different quests regarding the different topics. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's really good to, if you're gonna ramp up the online circles, that might be like really a good opportunity to give people a chance to join, where we practice. I don't know, we in entrepreneurship circles, we had some vivid vision practices, we do the most important questions and all this stuff. Like maybe in these quests can also be the links to the meetup or that particular chapters or whatever. So yeah, that was my suggestion.
Awesome. Thank you, Diana. We'll take note of that for sure. Yeah, we'll see how we can plug that in. We've got a few things to do about sort of new members coming in and sending emails. There's some gaps that we can fill with some information that we haven't yet been able to do. So we'll certainly consider that as we go. Great. Well, thanks everyone for sharing. And I would love to open the floor, because I much prefer hearing you guys talk and sharing about your, I don't know, whether it's wins, some feedback, some information, just anything that you've learned about sort of either coordinating or hosting, anything at all, because other people are going to be watching, other hosts and coordinators are going to be watching this call as well, of course, and it's so valuable to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So if anyone has anything to share, I can't remember how this works on this platform. We don't have the sort of raise a hand feature, I don't think, here, do we? So I think we're going to have to just type in the chat if you want to share, and I'll take note of that, and then we'll unmute one by one. And then just share something that you'll know, like if there's something you want to share with the group, and it can be anything at all. It's all going to be valuable. So if anyone wants to take the floor, please share. Chat, or first person can just raise their hand, and then going forward, I can take the names down. We can unmute one by one. Dev, hello.
Hi, Steve. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Great. I'm Dave. I'm from London. I'm the UK facilitator and host. And I don't know if I know some of you there, so lovely to see you all. And it's great to be here. I think for me, the big wins that I've been having over the last 3 to 4 months have been to increase the team of hosts, so that we have consistency with our Mindvalley cafes, and also as we continue to develop and grow, we're also building on locations. So I've got the map of the UK, and I'm slowly working across it to identify gaps in our UK tribe and recruit our hosts for those areas, so that we start to accommodate not only the hub of London, but also across the UK for our tribe. And I think that's what I wanted to share with you. Also, with the consistency of the Mindvalley cafes every week, it will also allow us to start organizing other events around that. I've got a few hosts that want to do poetry, creative writing, want to do live music events. So we want to start expanding what we're doing in terms of the events. We've got some hosts that also want to do dancing, Bollywood dancing events. So there's lots of things that are going to be happening over this year, but that gets easier when your team increases. So that's where I am with that. An observation in terms of the number of attendees that attend the meetup. So I've noticed a trend where if I have an event or the team has an event on a weekend, the numbers increase. So that's just something to let you know. Weekends might be pretty magic. So I will start looking at trying to organize some events on the weekend and just monitor the numbers. And I'm sure Ezra will be getting at his calculator on Bevy, checking the stats. What else have I got here? So yeah, we've expanded in Scotland. We're going to expand in Northampton, Peterborough, Leicester. I've got a meeting with a recruit on Monday for Gloucestershire, and we've also just expanded our number of hosts in London. So yeah, the team's getting bigger. So yeah, good news all around. I did have a question to the team about inviting non-Mindvalley members. So I'd like to know where we are with that, because I have been getting interest for those wanting to attend these events, but I said right now we're just doing Mindvalley members. So it'd be good to get an idea of that, because I think that'd be a great way of introducing them to Mindvalley. And also, yeah, that's what I would say. And I think that's it from me. Yeah, that's it from me, guys.
So great. Thank you so much, Dev. And related to your question, actually, so the conversation now at Mindvalley is we are actually looking at rather than using meetups as a membership kind of retention tool, that we use meetups as more of an enrollment, spread the word of Mindvalley tool. So if you have non-members that want to come, allow them to come. I wouldn't yet promote it to groups with non-members, but if you do have non-members, allow them to come and just monitor that the energy stays just like it has, even though these are maybe people that aren't familiar with Mindvalley. Maybe they are, they're just not Mindvalley members. The only thing we want to watch to make sure that doesn't happen is we dilute the energy, and then we kind of lose, the understanding, the trust, the security, the the playfulness that we have when we come as all Mindvalley members. We kind of know, right? So
the magic. The magic.
Yes. So just be invite them, yeah, allow them to come and just monitor the magic. But we are looking at this specifically to give you guys the right tools to allow non-members to come and be able to maintain that magic.
And I want to add just one extra thing on that, because I'm all for that too. I think it's a wonderful idea to bring other people in as well. There's two things that come to my mind personally. One of the things is, if one of the members has a friend that's not a member, but they know them, they know that they're interested in this stuff as well, then that +1 is like it's a special invite. And I think that's very valuable. That's beautiful, because they're already stepping into that arena with, okay, maybe I don't know the quests and the programs and stuff, but I'm willing and I'm open and I'm, you know, willing to take part in all of this. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So just inviting members, if they do ask, yeah, can I bring a +1? Absolutely. I think that's such a great thing to do. The next thing on top of that, and this is just like just thoughts at the moment, we haven't got anything set in place, but it's just something that I feel is quite valuable. You know, sharing a couple of those points about the playbook, right? About Mindvalley Cafe. It's only been used there specifically in part, right? That to me is really valuable. I love that, because first of all, it only takes a few seconds, or if not a minute or so, just to share those points. But the reason I even thought of that in the first place is because I was at this event, would go to this event in Bali last year, and it was every single week it was on, or every couple of weeks it was on. And one thing I noticed was so powerful about that event was they shared the exact same information every single time, no matter who was there. And it was this ritualistic thing. And before the whole event started, they would sit down, they would welcome everyone, and they would just remind everyone about, like, you know, the clicking fingers, for example, and just saying, this is how we roll, this is how we roll, this is how we roll. And then everyone in that room, you know, even if it's the same people, even if you recognize every person in that room and you know they've heard it before, still say it again, because it adds this beautiful connection that you just remind everyone why you're here and how we show up and how we play. And we don't have to point fingers, you know, everyone's on the same page. I personally love that, because one of my personal, say, meetups or community is the differences that we all have as individuals. Some people are shy, some people are very outspoken. We have different people that learn differently. There's so much diversity in everyone that we can't assume that everyone's going to be able to step into that place as comfortable as someone else. So what we can do is lay the playing field for everyone to feel comfortable. If you're shy, they get the chance to speak. If you're loud, you also have you're aware that you're going to give up that space for somebody else to share, and all of this stuff, and it creates a beautiful balance. So this is something we haven't done on a general basis yet. This is something I'm definitely going to look into, so I'm open to any suggestions for everyone else as well. And that's about having some more of a general points to mention before every single meeting, even if it's a social gathering, even if it's a music event, even if it's a dinner. No matter what it is, we still start it off of that way, because then everyone connects. I just think that's a wonderful way to do it, and it also adds the value to the members, the non-members, for example. If they do join, they can then see, this is how we play. Great, that's easy. Now let's dive in. So I just wanted to share that as we flow. And I see, well, Ezra nominated Mark. I'm not sure if he wants to share, but Ezra nominated Mark. And but also Adriana asked if she would like to share. So maybe Adriana first, and then Mark, if you do want to share, I'll give you the chance rather than forcing you.
Thank you. You know that I always like to share. But so Debbie, thank you for sharing that. But I feel that's hard for us to control as well, who is member, who is not member, because as soon as people are on Telegram, we don't know who is member. I don't know if there is some tool, but I don't know. So people come because the meetup is a different platform than the Mindvalley app, right? The membership is a different platform. So could come some people that are not, which is good for the, I totally love the people that come, because sometimes they even become members because they love the community so much. So it's a way even to bring more people to Mindvalley. But I had one case, unfortunately, in Toronto, not everything is flowers. I had one case that a guy applied to become a host, and I never received the application. So he came to me, and he was very angry. And then he opened up. He's not even a member, but regardless, he was not even like I wouldn't recommend him because he doesn't have the values of Mindvalley. He was putting people down. We had a pole dancing class, beautiful, following the Mindvalley University last year. And he posted an article that pole dancing is for prostitutes and slave women. And in a way that put us down. So I told him, I'm sorry, I don't see you. And then he opened up, oh, I'm not even a member. I was considering to become if they was. So I don't even know the reason why he wants to become a host. But anyway, unfortunately, things are happening. And I also would like to share one thing that I have. Well, the community Toronto is beautiful. In Canada is amazing. We are growing. Ezra, thank you so much for helping Joel in Vancouver. So finally, Joel is back and he's so excited. He's having his first dinner this weekend. So many people are joining, so he's very excited. Montreal, the ladies are amazing. In Calgary, Rebecca is doing a great job, and soon we are going to have in Ottawa as well. Pauline just applied, and she's going to have an interview soon, so I'm so excited too. So we are growing. Toronto, I don't know if everybody saw the 20 people that came up in the meetup. Everybody spoke, was beautiful, an open up room for everybody, and there are the shy people, the more extrovert people. But we had a sexual harassment case here. And I'm working with Sarah and Steve. I send you a message as well to join a small group to talk to the person. And I know that you are changing the how can I say, the legal language. And I'm so grateful for that. So unfortunately, some bad things happen, but we'll get there. So that was my sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Adriana. We are aware of this. The whole team is aware of this. We're talking to legal right now on the proper steps of how we handle this. Also, how we can properly notify all members and new members what behavior is expected, what's not tolerated, and how we play. So that everyone is agreeing to those terms, and there's a very clear line of where that is. But we're looking into this particular matter. It's serious, and we want to make sure that all of our members, all of our hosts, all of our coordinators are protected. And you do have the tools, and you know the process of if something like this happens, what do I do, right? So that we can protect everyone. So we're working with legal right now. I just had a call an hour ago with our legal team, and we're working on the process for that. And we will update you guys when we have a solid process of what to do, both in a meetup and also if it happens within the Telegram groups as well.
Thank you. I just want to share because sometimes we women, we think that is our fault and we are shy to speak up. So I just want to help everybody to speak up. We need to, and it doesn't matter if it happens with males too, who knows, right? Please just speak up. And it's not because Mindvalley could happen anywhere. Thank you for your support, Ezra and Steve and Marta.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And this, these situations, they help us to craft and understand how we can make this better as we go. And I know it's not necessarily comfortable, and it's not like the ideal situation for us, but we still get to understand, okay, this actually happened. We know we can now work on making it better going forward. So thanks for bringing it up. So, do we have anyone else that wants to share? Yumila, that you mentioned something that in our Telegram we're not clear about adding non-Mindvalley members to be added. Right now, still we wouldn't say promote that because members or non-members will somehow find their way in there, here, there, and everywhere. But we're not really promoting the Telegram groups for that because that might open up a little bit of spam, right? That's a little bit of danger. So I wouldn't promote that to non-members right now at all. It's just the meetups. Like if people find out about the meetups, then they can join. That's okay. So who's next? Hands. Let's see some hands.
Should I
Mark.
take? Yeah.
Then for us.
Good. I had a moment, like in the beginning, as Ezra was talking, just a moment of gratitude to see where we stand in terms of the rollout of this program. You know, it's like a couple of months ago, we didn't really know how to do it. Like there was the platform, and we start creating these events, and now look at where we are, and I'm like, wow, beautiful to see what's happening in all those countries. I remember when I talked quickly with Adriana, how to bring, let's say, connect with the right people in Toronto, and all of a sudden she's posting this massive video, this table of 20 people cheering, and I'm like, no, it's happening time and again here and there, and that's really beautiful. We in Switzerland, we have quite a lot of programs, and especially the part of central Switzerland, Zurich, Zug, is working wonderfully. We meet up every 2 weeks, which is a lot in Switzerland because everyone is so busy. But we meet up for cold plunges during the entire winter season. We have every 2 weeks cold plunges, and I'm one of those who never believed I would be able to do this. But you have one guy, Dave. He's 2 meters high. He just, he takes us through this entire process time and again. It's beautiful. It's safe. It's wonderful. One of the things that seemed to work very well in terms of the recruiting, so we started August, September, and then I identified a little bit where do we have a tribe, where do we have enough people, who wants to be a host. We had a lot of rotations, people who initially said they would do something, they never really did anything, they never responded to messages again. And I think now we do have a very good setup where we have I aim to have 2 hosts per city, major cities, Zurich, Geneva, Lucerne, Bern, Basel, maybe the southern part of Switzerland in particular, because in places like Geneva, they have the experience that they have a meetup of 6 people and there are late cancellations or no-shows. And in particular, if there is one host, it always sits on his shoulder and he gets demotivated. But the moment you start having two hosts in the area, they support each other. Someone else is picking up the ball, encouraging, and we are also discussing. Then the 3 of us, okay, how do we change that habit in Geneva? What kind of messages do we have to bring over? And that seems to work very, very well. One question that I have, besides the 2 host principle, what I also did is the initial hosts who have proven to be active and to have a very good energy. I gave them a little bit the title of lead host. Why lead host? So if other people are applying in Geneva, I let them have the first go. Or for example, I have maybe the first call, and then I send them to the lead host. So he's basically qualifying the next person. Okay, can I work with this host? Because that's gonna be the person who is going to work with that lead host in the area. And that seems to work very well as well. One of the questions I have, and it goes a little bit into what we said previously. So I have, for example, this woman, she showed up once, and as we introduced ourselves, she introduced very quickly her luxury retreat that she's doing somewhere in the Mediterranean. And she was asking whether it would be okay for, to share within the Telegram group. And I said, because it's not a free thing, it actually has a very high price ticket. I wouldn't want her to post it and then promote it. So I said, in order to remain clean, I am okay to just mention like, hey guys, she is doing this kind of retreat in Turkey. Whoever is interested, here's the link. Basically like very, very calm. But then she became really pushy and saying, hey, but we need to communicate this, we need to communicate that. And I said like, no way. Up to a limit, it's like where do I made it very, really clear in terms of boundaries. This is not aligned with what we want to do with the meetup. So, take it or leave it. But where do we interact in terms of when do we say in a no that has actually consequences? So when do we escalate? How do we escalate? So in terms of, I'm going to see her on Sunday. I'm going to talk to her. She will probably be a bit quieter. But when it becomes such a disturbance also in those meetups that there is I would call it almost like egoistic, narcissistic energy. We don't want to have that. So we as a host, what do we do? Maybe you can give a little bit some kind of guidance in the escalation.
Yeah, quick, because my computer is about to die.
Oh, that was
It just died.
wonderful. Thanks for letting us know, Ezra. That was
Oh,
great.
it's funny. He's back. He's back.
Oh, here he is. We'll wait. Well, in the meantime, Mark, thanks for sharing. I think, first of all, what you mentioned earlier on is just beautiful example of finding what works for your area, right? This is because two hosts may not work everywhere, but you've found that, yes, this is going to work for us. And I think that by you sharing that as well to the whole team, that gives even more permission for everyone else to think, okay, what works for me? No one has to struggle. Like, we can make it simple, we collaborate and do all of this stuff. And I think that's just brilliant, because you find what works. And I think it's just a great way to move through life, and it's great leadership as well. So thanks for that. Ezra, your computer did die. Very well caught. Are you back? Can you hear? Are you ready to share?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. I don't know what you just said, Steve, but you can add on to it. I think, so we understand there's many people in Mindvalley, even many of you have your own businesses, you have your own things going on, and may have something that you'd like to promote time to time, and it's also in service of the community. It's not just for yourself because of what you're doing. So we try to leave it up to you to figure out what the best piece of action. We definitely don't want hard selling, and we don't want people that are in the community and that are not participating in the community except to sell their products or their courses or their retreats. Now, if there's someone that's active, that's coming to the meetups, that's participating, that is like a valuable member of the community, if you know them, sure, you can share their event, but we don't want our communities to be a place of where everyone's going to post their $5,000 weekend events, or even it becomes a lot about posting outside of events, So you really want to leave it up to your discretion. Mark, I think you had the right in trying to help her out, but in the end, she was asking too much, and so we want to leave it up to you guys. We're not like no selling at all. We realize we want to help people, grow themselves that also want to help grow this community. So it's kind of like that. If you're ever not fully sure if it's okay, definitely reach out to Steve or Martha or Sierra or myself to see if it's okay. So we're kind of, we're flexible. We try to be flexible, even on stuff like this.
Maybe from my side, I will add that, as Ezra was mentioning, that if it is a valuable member who is very active in the community and you feel it doesn't, really go above and beyond the boundaries, you can let them do that. But if you can see that this is something that is not interested to the community or too big, you can say from the very beginning, we will post it once, but these events are still not for this, and the policy of these events is a little bit different. So you can give the expectations from the very beginning, from your own experience, and from your own feelings, and then this person maybe won't come back to you pushing on you, So this is one of the advices that I can also give in this situation, just to communicate it from the very beginning that we are doing this, but only maybe once, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's what I intrinsically, or let's say intuitively reacted like this. I said, okay, let me run that promotion, because then I can frame it more neutral, because the kind of email or message that she wanted to send up was very hard selling, very, using all these kind of adjectives and wonderful and life-changing and so forth. And I'm like, no. This is just, one a little bit more neutral. And then that's basically what the space I can offer as a coordinator. But if they of course want to promote on their own, you know, it's like this is then up to them. And if I see they cross the boundary, I just report them to you. Like, of course, I raise the flag, and if it gets too hard, I raise it to you. Thank you.
It's a relatively complex situation. It's something that we've been sort of like seeing over the last few years as well when it comes to, say, guidelines and stuff. It's a tough one because where's the boundary between self-promotion and just this is part of my life, right? And it's gonna come up in conversation. We don't want people to feel like, oh, I can't talk about my business because I don't want to come across as self-promoting, to the point where, oh, now I don't want to share anything. So obviously we want people to feel comfortable to share and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's complex and we continue. So thanks for bringing it up. I think us to find a really beautiful way to explain this. And I think that, again, talking about, say, the sharing at the start of every meetup, if we share the same thing every time, eventually, if, say, for example, that person comes back 3 times in a row, and for the first 2 times, sort of self-promoting, so to speak, but each time at the start we sort of say, okay, this place isn't for unsolicited coaching. This isn't, you know, if something comes up, you can to them later on, you know, in free time, and then it's up to the person. Like they get to choose if they have a conversation with this person. It kind of goes with self-promotion. It doesn't have to be directed at, like, you know, so just remember, in this place, if, you know, obviously it's going to be part of the story, share about what's meaningful to you. If it's part of your business, remember it's not self-promotion. If someone's interested in what you're doing, then cool, after the meetup, take it, you know, take a conversation up with them. I think people really start to get that, and the general respect that I've personally experienced with everyone in the meetups is that most people do listen, and they're all for that, and it generally becomes part of the flow and the conversation, and just the values of what we do. And I think that reminding each other every single time, it becomes quite an easy thing. But of course, what you shared, Mark, is super valuable, and I think it's a good open question. Let's make sure that we keep that open, and you know, just try and find the best way to communicate. 'Cause like I said, it's a relatively complex situation, but we want people to feel free to share about their lives and things like that, which a lot of these things are a very integral part of their life. So it's finding that balance. But it's a great point. Thank you. Mark, are you complete?
All right, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Steve. Ezra, I think I should bring up the conversation we had today, which is about the psychedelics. Yep. So if that certain psychedelic item is illegal in your country, don't let people advertise it in the group, because we're hope dealers, we're not dope dealers. I'll repeat that, we're hope dealers, not dope dealers. And one of the persons in our group was advertising a drug retreat, which is not cool. So we're trying to keep Mindvalley out of lawsuits. So that's something we have to reinforce. So I just wanted to share that. Second part is, CIRA does the pre-qualification for local host applications. Just out of curiosity, is the question regarding, have you been to a Mindvalley event? In that questionnaire, have they been to like university or Mindvalley Live? And also, are you currently doing any coaching certification program? And the reason I request for this strongly is the 2 local hosts that's been recruited for Norway. One's doing the Paul McKenna hypnotherapy program, and the other's been to the Mindvalley Berlin Live event. And they both understand what Mindvalley is about, the community, the DNA, and that makes sense. The third person I spoke to, he's been to no events, he's done 1 or 2 quests. We had a meeting, and it was like a bad freaking date. All he did was speak about his gym workout, the size of his chest, his hairstyle. And I'm like, you've got a moment to ask about community, but he's just a narcissist, kept speaking about himself. I'm like, now I know how girls feel on a date sometimes, you know? This guy keeps speaking about himself. And then I asked him, how could you serve the community? I just show people feel my vibe. I'm like, that's freaking great, bro. And I just realized I asked him the question why he actually applied to be a local host, and he just wanted to get more followers and connect with more people, which is the wrong intention. So that's why I said if people can have some sort of Mindvalley experience at university or live, or just multiple meetups, it makes it easier to onboard them. Like one of the Danish ladies, she's run 2 or 3 Mindvalley meetups, and I just recruited her as a local host applicant because she understands the culture and the community. And just wondering if that question is currently available. Steve, Ezra, and Martha, off to you.
Right, first of all, Ezra's disappeared. I don't know if it was my side of the connection, but there were parts where I wasn't quite getting it. The connection was cutting out a little bit, so I didn't fully hear every single word. So I don't know. Can you reframe if there is a question? Because I got what you're talking about, but if there is a question, can you reframe that?
Is this audio much better now? I'm just speaking closer to the mic. Yeah, so the question is basically, in the pre-qualification Sira does, can we ask the local host applicants if they've been to a Mindvalley University or live event? Because these candidates understand the Mindvalley culture a lot better than some of the other local hosts.
Great point. So that's a part of I didn't quite get before. So this person you're talking about was a host, are they?
The 2 people that I've brought on as hosts, they've done Mindvalley live events. And also
third person you were talking about?
They just wanted a portal to get more followers.
They were a host, were they?
No, they applied to be a host. So they applied to be a local host.
To be a host.
Yeah. And they just
okay, cool.
Were totally not in sync with the community values.
Steve, it sounds like the vetting of the application needs to have some more potent questions in terms of where they're coming from and what their experience is in this environment. That would help us, I think. In my experience, what I've been doing is I know people in the tribe that I've approached, and I've asked them to apply if they want to contribute. That way, I know exactly who I'm getting in terms of the quality.
That's my favorite approach. When you meet someone and you know they show up, I mean, the Estonia hosts, the coordinators, they're rock stars. I think many have seen them and met them, Celia and Laura. They're amazing, and they would come on a regular basis to the meetups, and it's because like, oh wow, I love the way you show up. I love the way that you always honor the values, that you're always there. I'm like, would you be interested in just helping out for a couple? I didn't even say, do you want to be a host necessarily? It was like, would you be interested, even just to help out and help out of a few meetups? And of course, they went and done such an amazing job. And so I think you really connect heart to heart that way. And I think that's my favorite way of bringing in new hosts. Actually, is when you meet them in person, for sure. The vetting approach, for sure, we'll be looking into that further. I totally agree. We should have some really good questions that cause people to think of a deeper answer, and so we can really understand where they're coming from. So I think that's great. So I know Sarah knows the application a bit better than I do, but of course, if they get into the interview process and then we discover maybe they're not, aligned, then we can see there. But yeah, Ezra will look further into that.
We may have, Steve, just to add on this, we have a very particular situation where one person has applied to become a host. The person is very active in the Mindvalley tribe. He's created a Telegram group in Basel. And I was like, wow, this guy is really stepping up. And then I realized in the interview, his energy is like, somewhere there, but so. And then I got feedback from other people like, he's not really there. to become a host. And then, this creates a little bit of a conflict. Do I put the bar because he's actually doing great things, but to be an official host, maybe not? And the way we decided now to handle this with Sira is, so Sira will give him a chance to interview. She will assess. If she feels like he's a great host, we will have a conversation. But if she doesn't, she will just politely put him somewhere on a, be there, but absorb maybe a little bit more of the culture. And then we see what's happening. Because what you don't want to do is to offend or just shut down and say, get lost. And then,
Yeah, and this is a perfect opportunity for us to actually develop that skill set. Not everyone's going to have the full package, but if you see something in them where you feel that you can be a mentor for them, Mark, then you can take them on that journey, apply the Mindvalley values, and develop them to become a good host, a great host.
Yeah, this is actually a really good conversation. I love this because one of the things that I think is a great way of doing it, again, linking to everything that's just been shared, is if somebody's interested, there's no rush, right? We don't have to go, quick, get in. It can take time. There's no rush. And if the person's in a rush, why? Like if you're going to turn up to the meetups anyway, take your time. And then it's like, as a host or coordinator, you can invite them in and say, hey, would you be interested in hosting? You're there as well, but you just go, you take it. And you're not necessarily doing anything. You could even introduce them and say, hey, maybe I'm traveling a little bit here, and they may take on a few. And you could say, would you be up for helping some? They don't have to become a full-time host. Would you be up for helping some meetups? If there's a gap, how do they approach? How do they speak to everyone? And then it starts this episode. It starts to develop upon itself. You get to see the quality and values of these new members, and that actually creates a very high bar. And people step up into that because it takes a little bit more of their energy than just saying, okay, I applied to be a host and become a host. It's actually, I'd step into this role, and it becomes a little bit more meaningful, I believe. So I really love this conversation. I think this is such a great way of developing, I'm thinking long term, over the next months and years. This is part of what can be so fundamental to creating such a strong community of hosts is by doing it like this. And there's no rush. Maybe just allowing people to have, just hosting one-offs if they're interested, and see how they like it. So brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and Steve, perfect example. I had this example, Mark, myself recently. I was about to recruit a really good person in Newcastle, but unfortunately, his circumstances in terms of his job, he lost his job, so he was not in the right space. So we had a meeting, we talked about it, and I said, look, the role's not going anywhere. It's going to be here for you when you're ready. So when you're ready to do the role, it's there for you. So this is a perfect case study.
Yeah, it's great. So that's it for anyone. If you notice people are interested, just invite them to co-host or host, and you be there. Or if you can't even be there, then just invite them to co-host and maybe ask them, get some feedback, things like this. I think that's a really cool way of doing things. So I'm not sure if I've missed anyone in the list without me checking. Is anyone ready to share or wanting to share? I know we've gone over time, I believe. I think we've gone over time. But if anyone's, it's up to you if you want to jump off, or if you want to stay on. If anyone wants to share, please raise your hand. Saves me looking through the comments that I've missed.
No, seems like that's it, Steve. I don't see any hands as well here. Yes, but I believe that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for staying over time with us here. I can see we had 20 people, now 18, so only Ezra has dropped off at the end. Thank you, everyone, for joining, for staying here. Amazing questions, a lot of food for us also to think, to proceed. We are learning with you based on your experience as well. So please do come to these meetings, do share. The next meeting like this will be happening more in the time zone for Asia, because we want, as we were mentioning, that we will be rotating it every month. But for hosts and coordinators, it will be happening next Friday. Please do come, because as Ezra was mentioning, we have some exciting news for you. And yes, so see you next week. See you on Friday. Thank you very much, and enjoy your Friday evening, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
everyone.
everyone.
Take care.
Thank you. Ciao.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.